Hello and welcome to Procreate Pocket, where today I'm going to show you how I create a collage by importing some photos and files and then scaling them and moving them around. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new canvas, and I'm going to do that by checking the plus sign at the top right. So this gives me an option to create my own custom size canvas or to choose from some of the inbuilt ones, and I'm just going to use the screen size because I want a nice big canvas that I can work on. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to import a file, and I'm going to do that by checking modify, and that brings up my icons. I'm going to select the wrench icon, and under that you can see I have some actions. So at the moment canvas is highlighted, but I'm going to slide along to add. And in add I get the option to insert a photo or take a photo, cut, copy canvas, copy, add text, or insert a file at the top right. So I'm going to select insert a file. And that opens a file that I have on my iPad called Tofu Joe, where I have a selection of images that I have bought from Tofu Joe. So I think I'm going to select, let's see, what shall we add? I quite like this Australian bird, and I'm going to select the big version, 22 megabytes, because that is the one that has no background. It's got a clear background, so I'm going to be able to add things behind or in front of it. And you'll notice that this image is selected, so I can move it around, and I'm doing that just by shifting, moving it with my thumb around the canvas. I think I'm going to make it a bit smaller, and to do that I'm going to move the outwards corner on the bottom right and just slide down. So I think that kind of looks like a bird size. And let's see, where shall we put it on the page? I think I'm going to leave it here, but I'm going to tilt it a little bit. In fact, I'm going to turn it. So what I'm going to do is down at the bottom, I've got some other functions that I can select: freeform, uniform, distort, warp, or settings at the extreme right. I'm going to tap settings, and that gives me the option to transform the bird. So I think I'm just going to use the first one at the top left, which is horizontal. And there we go. I quite like the bird like that. And let's see, what else am I going to bring in? So I'll go back to modify, back to my wrench icon, back to add, and insert a file. And I think this time I may insert, let's see, shall we insert a person or another object? I've got quite a range of images here, and I think I'm going to select this one, which is the lady with the hunting stick. And I really like her, but I think I need to move it down a little bit, and I'm going to keep her the same size and unselect her. Now, if you want to see what the layers look like, I'm going to check the layers at the top right, and the bird has been inserted on one layer and the lady's been inserted on another layer. So I can move them independently. And I'm going to go back to the bird layer. So I'm going to select the bird layer, and then I'm going to tap on modify, tap my little arrow, and I'm going to make the bird even a bit smaller, but I think I'm going to bring the bird down to kind of eye level with the lady. So I'm happy with that. And what else am I going to do? I could multiply the bird and put in a few more bird images. So I go back to my layers and I duplicate that layer. Done. And then I tap modify, tap the arrow, and I can move this image. So I think I'm going to put the birdie up here, but I'm going to turn it around. So again, at the bottom right, settings, I'm going to turn it horizontal, tap on that. Do I like that position? Not really. Back to modify, back to the arrow. I'm going to move the bird a little bit, but this time I'm going to turn the bird by moving the green rotation button, and I'm going to move the bird a little higher up and see how that looks. Well, I think I need to put something under the bird, so I'm going to create another layer, a new layer, and I think I'm going to draw a branch. Choose my dry ink, done, and I'm going to draw a branch under here. There we go. So the bird is sitting on a branch, and I suppose I should really have drawn that one under the bird, but on the same layer, but I'm happy to leave it there. And I think I will draw another one here, and I'll add it to that. And I'll just, not really very happy with that. There we go. So now I'm not very happy with the lady because she's obscuring the bird. So I'm going to go back to the lady, back to modify, back to select, and I'm going to make her slightly smaller and move her down. So there we go. She's in the wilds. And the final thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer. And to that layer, I'm going to add a background color. So I go back to modify, back to wrench, insert a photo, and I think I'm going to insert, what am I going to do? I'll insert my spring image, and you can see it's not the right proportion, but that doesn't matter. I slide it up, I move this down, I uncheck it, I move to layers, and I move it underneath all the layers. And there we go. There's my lady standing in a beautiful bower surrounded by birds. So I'm quite happy with that drawing. I think I'll finish that off by saving it as an image. So I go back to modify, back to wrench, and I search for share, which is under action. So you could add, canvas, guides, share. And I'm going to share the image. And I'm going to share the image as a JPEG. It's exporting, and I'm going to save the image, and there we go. And there's my lovely collage that I've made. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that video, and I look forward to seeing your collages next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.